In this Ask Sam, I'm here to talk about how men actually mean what they say. Now, this may seem crazy, and we're going to restate it another way as well. Men don't lie just for the sake of lying. I know the title, Men Don't Lie or whatever, is meant to get your attention, but what we mean is men don't lie just for the sake of lying. Women often believe that we do. We really don't. Now, we will lie when we think it's going to get us somewhere, right? We're going to lie about some bad thing we did. We're going to lie about how many beers we had. We're going to lie to the cop about how fast we thought we were driving. Yes, if we're going to get in trouble and lying is going to protect us, yes, men will lie, women will lie, everyone lies, right? And that's not a good thing. It's just fact. And we're going to lie when we think we're protecting someone. Right? Oh, does my hair look good? I just went to the salon and I can't... No, it looks great. It looks great. We don't want to hurt feelings. We're going to lie. Right? There's lying that's going to happen. But men are not going to lie just for the sake of it. And this is an interesting discussion because 20 years ago, I had this discussion with my wife and we talked about this. And for 20 years, we've been talking about it. And recently, I've learned that she will have this conversation with other women and teach them the same thing. She has this really interesting, so 20 years ago, Sam taught me this thing, and for 20 years he's been teaching me over and over and over again, and now I'm realizing that this is true, and now I can pass on this knowledge to other women because it's something that women need to know, because it is a major piece of miscommunications and complications in relationships between men and women, that men are not lying, but women truly believe that they are. What they believe, women believe that men just lie all the time about everything for the sake of it, not to benefit them, not to hurt somebody, not just because their brains make everything up, apparently. But men don't work this way. Men communicate clearly, concisely, and honestly, as long as it doesn't meet some other criteria where they need to lie. I'll give you some examples. The big one that my wife and I always have. This one came up so many times. If I ask the question, when are we going to eat? In no way whatsoever does that actually mean something else. It is not a way for me to say that I'm hungry. It is not a way to say that I want to eat now. It is not a way to say that I want something to be done or plans to be made. It means I want to know when we're going to eat, or possibly if you know when we're going to eat, right? In my case, quite often, I don't know the plans and I want to know what they are. It took so many years to convince my wife that I didn't mean something I didn't say. There was nothing to be implied by the statement. I was interested. Now, there are deeper meanings. Of course, I might want to know so that I can plan the meals that come before dinner. Oh, maybe I need a snack if it's going to be a while. Or maybe I need to make sure I avoid eating, or I need to have some water now so that I'm properly hungry when the meal comes around. As men, this is going into things about meals and men, but men often feel we have to eat when women give us food, and so we try very hard to schedule our food so that we will be hungry at the appropriate times, so that when women have made an effort, whether it's to pick up food at the restaurant or to cook for us, that we are prepared to eat it. This is a thing that men do and think about a lot. But if we don't know when we're going to eat, we can accidentally, using that same logic, screw everyone over, right? Oh, I was sure we were going to eat at 6, so at 4 I was starving, so I had a snack. Then it turned out we were eating at 4:30, and I just ate because I was trying to be ready to eat at 6 when I thought it was because I wanted to be hungry. I wanted to do the right thing, and I screwed it up by trying too hard, right? Because I didn't have the right information. Now, sometimes, I don't want to go into who has the information and why we eat and all that. The point is, men don't imply things very much in what they're saying. The idea that you would ask one thing and mean something else, or say one thing and mean something else, makes no sense to men. It doesn't exist to us conceptually, right? The idea that the meaning of things is implied and the words are just there to set a kind of vocal tone does not exist in the male brain at all. If you think you've had a situation where a man was implying things, but he said something else, I hate to tell you this, you imagined it. Not sometimes, every time. I've never met a man, I've never heard of a man, I've never heard a story of a man somewhere in legend who did this. It's not a thing that men do. It is neither natural for us to do. There is nothing in our brains that causes us to want to do that, nor is it acceptable in any way for a man to do that. Now, you have to understand, and we'll talk about this in other videos, but men are driven by rules that other men set for them. There are standards of behavior, and implying things instead of saying what you mean is so unbelievably unacceptable within the male realm. Other men would never stand for that. That would be embarrassing, and they would ostracize you. Right? We don't talk about that. No man ever does it. It's not the kind of thing that would come up. No one has to worry about punishing men through ostracism because of this, because it just isn't going to happen. Nobody wants to do that. It makes no sense. It's so inefficient. That's how inaccuracies come about. Why would we lie about what our meaning is in our words when it doesn't benefit anybody? Right? All it does is make confusion, and we can say, right, well, it's obvious what they're implying. No, it's not. It can't be, because every woman believes that men are implying things when they speak, and no man is. So every bit of imagined implication is therefore wrong. Not some of it, not most of it, all of it. It is all imagined. That's important to understand. This implies that there's also a lot of miscommunications going on other places. Believing that people are saying one thing but mean another is weird, right? It's a weird thing for someone to do. It is so inefficient, it is so inaccurate, and there's a reason why that doesn't hold up in court, for example. There's a reason why business contracts cannot be written that way. You can't go to court and argue, well, I agreed to do this, but we all knew it's not what I meant. Not really how it works. If you put it in writing and, I said I would deliver 10 gallons of paint, but they knew I was actually going to deliver 8 gallons of olives, you're going to say, no, you wrote a contract, you're held to the contract. Clearly, this was very precise. You said exactly what it was supposed to be. How could we guess it's going to be something completely randomly different, right? And that's the thing with, like, the food, the hunger, right? What time are we eating? How does that lead you to think someone's hungry or wants to eat? As a man, if you said, what is it that you would be implying in saying this, I have no idea what you might think I would be implying. Why do you think I'm hungry when I ask that rather than full and hoping to find out that the food will be a long time away? Why do you think that that I want food to be made rather than maybe I want to make plans to go pick it up or just find out what needs to happen? There's a million things I could do with that information, and I may not know what I'm going to do with that information. I just need to know so that all planning can be done. I want to have that information. I'm not trying to tell you to do something. If I was, this would be a really poor way to do it, because there's no way for me to know what you might think I was trying to say, right? And the reaction would be, I believe, primarily backwards. When I'm not hungry, you would perceive it as being hungry. When I want to be able to have food at a specific time, you would think it was a different specific time. Whatever, it would never, ever work. We can prove that it would never work by the fact that it doesn't happen, and yet it is believed to be happening. That alone guarantees it couldn't work if you tried. So, it's impossible to explain how important this is. The level to which most women truly believe that men will just lie about the intentions of the most benign statements you could possibly imagine, and the amount that men can't understand why anyone would think that's true causes both genders to completely veer off and be unable to communicate in many cases. Once you understand this, and this goes for everyone, men need to understand there's a really good chance that women are thinking you're saying something that you're not, and women, there's a really good chance that men are not implying anything and you just imagined it. I've also learned from my wife that she remembers what she believed was implied rather than what was said, so she has a hard time replaying later because she remembers a kind of calculated message. And I don't know, for this, I have no idea if this is a common thing or not, but it's an interesting point that this could also be something that's commonly happening, and miscommunications between men and women is legendary, right? Now, we can't fix it by simply talking about it like this. We can't snap our fingers and say, well, now women are going to stop doing this and men are going to stop or start doing this other thing, and it's all going to be fixed. That is not the case. But I can empower you. no matter who you are, male or female, to realize that this is how men behave, this is often how women think, and the two are not compatible if they aren't aware of the other. By being aware, men can say, wow, I asked a question, there might be something believed to be implied that I wasn't aware could be. I need to kind of think about that or look into it. And women need to say, wow, a man said this thing, I can't think he meant something different unless I ask him. I have to assume he meant what he said. Or in the example I gave, what he asked. But don't believe that there is simply a message being sent when a simple question is being asked, right? If he asks a question, assume he wants to know the answer, not that he's looking for a response from you to take an action that isn't specified. Maybe that also is desired, but it isn't in the statement, and if you didn't do it and he didn't say it, he would look like an idiot if he thought you should do it. This is Ask Sam. Thanks for joining me. Leave your comments below. Like, subscribe. Hopefully this makes a difference. I want to hear how this improves your relationships or makes them worse. I really don't want to hear about that, but go ahead and comment. I'll see you all with the next question.